Alright, what is going on YouTube? Here is the second civilization review from the two new civs coming into AoE2 Definitive Edition with the Dawn of the Duke DLC. We are going to have the Bohemians. This time I've already made a video about the pose, so in case you haven't seen that, please check that one out as well if you're interested. So the Bohemians is going to be one of my favorite civilizations coming up because it is probably the ultimate closed map civilization, as we're going to be able to see it in a moment. So let's talk about this civilization real quick over here. Gunpowder and Monk civilization, you already get the feeling that this could be something that's good for closed maps. I'm going to push it early here. This is a civilization that's going to be pretty underwhelming on maps like Arabia, and it's going to be the dream civilization on closed maps like Arena over here. So let's talk about their unique technologies, or first off, their civilization characteristics. Blacksmiths, monasteries, and universities cost minus 100 wood. This is an enormous upgrade. And this is particularly good for fast Imperial builds, because for fast Imperial builds, you need a blacksmith to be able to create a siege workshop, you need a university to get chemistry. So if you take a look at how a Turkish fast Imperial build order comes out, you make a blacksmith, you age up with a siege workshop and a university most likely to Imperial, get chemistry, or well, with Turks you don't need to get chemistry because you get it for free at the beginning, and you start making bombard cannons, plus you use archery ranges to make hand cannoneers. So the fact that the blacksmith is discounted, the universities are discounted, is already a boost to a fast Imperial build order. But hold on, there is more. Chemistry and hand cannoneer available in Castle Age, which means that you can actually get chemistry while going up to Imperial, start training hand cannoneers while going up to Imperial, which means that you can get a very nice head start in unit numbers. Even better start to an early Imperial Age and a fast in build order than Turks. Hand cannoneers available in Castle Age is an interesting feature. I don't think it's actually that useful, especially in open maps, but even in closed maps, the fact that you have hand cannoneers is definitely nice, but it's not like it's a super strong power unit, and you usually don't encounter a lot of infantry in Castle Age, so this is not something that is that's super useful in most situations. Situationally could be something that helps a lot. For example, if you're up against Goths, it could be very helpful that you can get this one early. But the real power of this one, I believe, is in the fast Imperial Age build orders, one of which I will actually publish probably later today or sometime tomorrow, because I'm really interested in putting together a fast in build order for Bohemians on Arena. So hand cannoneers will be part of the equation over there. The fact that you can already start massing them while going up to Imp is very nice. Spearman line deals plus 25% bonus damage, which means that the Spearmen are actually much stronger over here for the Bohemians. This is a nice little buff, and it is particularly useful in late game for the Halberdiers. So this is a good all-around combat buff over there for them. Will make them slightly stronger for Halberdier bombard cannon style pushes mostly, but it can also be pretty useful in case you play random civ on Arabia and you get Bohemians. Then having a spearman being able to defend a little bit easily, or a little bit easier against scouts is definitely nice. Fervor and Sanctity affect villagers. This is actually a pretty massive buff, because first off, they can move faster, which is obviously going to increase their efficiency and economy, and they will also have more HP. Combine it with the fact that the Bohemians here do have Bombard Tower, makes them somewhat similar to the Spanish. The Spanish usually get supremacy when they go for Bombard Towers, because in the middle of the battle you want to keep those villagers alive. Same thing applies for Sanctity over here. It could be very useful when you go for Bombard Towers. And if all of this wasn't enough, mining camp technologies are also free. Once again, something that through gold mining also helps a fast Imperial Age build order. They do have two unique units, the hussite wagon and a unit that everybody will probably pronounce as Hufnis or Hufnice, but according to Google Translate, which is probably the only reliable source of translation data, Kappa, it's pronounced as Hufnice, and it means howitzer in Czech. So we're gonna go with the Hufnice, but someone who speaks Czech may be able to correct me if I'm wrong. Their unique technologies, we'll talk about that a little bit better, but I'm just gonna push it ahead here. Wagenburg Tactics gunpowder units move 15% faster. Have I mentioned that this civilization is going to be insane for fast aim builds? It is. Hand cannoneers, bombard cannons. Wagenburg Tactics will be very, very useful. Obviously, you would need a castle for this one, so this is not necessarily something that immediately affects things in a fast aim build order, but it definitely is something that can help, especially if you are unable to finish off your opponent early on. And hussite reforms, monks and monastery upgrades have their gold cost replaced by food. Could be situationally good. Team bonus market works 80% faster. This is an insanely good team bonus, because establishing trade in team games is vital. The fact that you can actually get that one up faster is very, very useful. Since the civilization itself is not that viable on Arabia, I can see this one being useful on closed team game maps. So this could be a very good civilization for maps like Black Forest as well, because of this bonus helping the teammates immensely. Looking at their tech tree, you see hand cannoneers available in Castle Age. Arblasts are actually there for them, but no Thumbring, not a single Cav Archer unit available at all, no Parthian Tactics, so sort of underwhelming Archer line over here. Their infantry line is actually fully upgraded, so Plate Mail Blast Furnace available for them, and their skirmishers also do have Ring Archer Armor and Bracers, so they do have okay skirmishers, they do have fully upgraded halberdiers and champions, so their infantry line is pretty strong, once again something that helps being a very good closed map civilization. The reason why they are pretty underwhelming on open maps is because their cavalry is absolute junk. So no plate barring armor means that these cavalier die pretty easily to arrow fire, no hussar, not even bloodlines, so you don't play cavalry with Bohemians. In fact, this is where you start to feel the fact that Bohemians are a very, very situational civilization, because they don't have a particularly amazing archer line lacking Thumbring, but they also have a very underwhelming cavalry play, so they're neither an archer civ nor a cavalry civ, something that's pretty rare in the game. We have seen some instances where a civilization is neither, like for example Sicilians is partly like that, or at least it used to be upon release, and people didn't really like it for open maps for a reason. So the fact that they have limited mobility also makes them pretty weak, I would say, on Arabia. Looking at their siege, they do lack siege ram and they do lack siege onager, but they do have a very strong bombard cannon play, and there is the Hufnice, which is basically a better version of bombard cannon that's available to research on the Siege Workshop. Once again, the fact that this is available makes their fast imp build with hand cannon and bombard cannon even stronger. The upgrade is pretty expensive, 950 food and 750 gold is not something that is easily accumulated. Their HP is higher compared to a standard bombard cannon and their attack as well. They do also have some extra pierce armor, but their range is the same, so you won't be able to outrange the opponent's bombard cannons, but you will be able to survive a lot more punishment with your Hufnices. If you just take a quick comparison, a Hufnice here is 90 HP, 55 attack, or at least 55 base attack. A Turkish bombard cannon is 100 HP and 40 attack, so this is almost as strong HP-wise as a Turkish bombard cannon, and we know that those are pretty powerful and pretty hard to kill. Plus, it has a lot more firepower. This is what really makes this civilization very powerful on close maps. It's one thing that you can do hand cannoneer, bombard cannon, fast imp, but you can also do halberdier bombard cannon plays over here really nicely. So there is a lot of variety with the options available for Bohemians on closed maps. We talked about their blacksmith upgrades already. They're only missing the final cavalry armor upgrade, but they do have fully upgraded infantry, and their archers do have ring archer armor and bracer available as well. Their naval tech tree is as bad as it gets. They do have elite cannon galleon, but really, no fast fire, no heavy demo, no Imperial Age dock upgrades. This is just not a civ that you want to play on water. Looking at their university, they do have all upgrades but heated shot. The most important being probably, first of all, the fact that they do have chemistry in Castle Age available. This is also something that buffs their crossbowman play. Let's talk about that for a moment, because it's one thing that they don't have Thumbring, but they do have chemistry available in Castle Age, and even if you are not utilizing the hand cannoneers in Castle Age, this buffs your crossbowmen. So probably the reason why they don't have Thumb Ring is because you would have that extra attack on your crossbowman if you play with chemistry. So that's a nice thing to have over there. Bombard Tower available, as I mentioned before. The fact that you can actually get some extra HP and speed for your villagers makes it easier for you to place Bombard Towers. So once again, on closed maps, like for example Black Forest as well, this could be a powerful civilization to push up with in terms of Bombard Towers. We'll come back to the hussite wagons a little bit later with the unique units, because there is some demonstrations that I also want to go through there real quick. There is a lot of maths to be done over here, and I'm pretty sure that Spirit of the Law is going to have a bunch of videos about that one, going into the details. I'm going to leave him to that because he's much better at doing all those tests and ending up with nice conclusions than I am. So we're going to just briefly talk about these units real quick. But before we do that, let's talk about their Monastery tech tree, which is a full tech tree. Once again, a closed map civilization. Very, very good for monk rushes as well. All the upgrades available. They don't have any particular bonus other than the monastery being cheaper. So it is 100 wood less for the monastery, which makes it easier to go for like a 5 monastery monk rush like Modri would love to do. They also have block printing and redemption, which is a nice combination to take down enemy bombard cannons. And don't forget that one of their unique upgrades is the fact that the monastery upgrades and even the monks are replaced in gold cost with food cost. Is it always good? Not necessarily, but it could be very useful in situations where you are running low on gold and you still need to have monks available. Eco upgrades are pretty straightforward, I would say. They do have everything but crop rotation in this one, so not a lot of things to look at over here. Once again, markets work 80% faster. There's a team bonus, which makes it much easier to get the trade cards out in team games. So let's talk about their unique upgrades here for a moment. Wagenburg Tactics, a very, very cheap unique upgrade for the bonus it gives. Gunpowder units move 50% faster. That is affecting the hussite wagons, it's affecting the hand cannoneers, it's affecting their bombard cannons as well. Makes it much easier to micro them. The combination of Wagenburg Tactics and Hofnitzes is actually pretty scary to think about. The other unique upgrade is a little bit more situational. Monks and monastery upgrades have their gold cost replaced by food. The hussite reforms is pretty expensive as well, especially on the food cost, but the gold cost is not that bad. 450 gold is not bad if you compare it to the fact that redemption itself would cost 475. So if you need monk upgrades quickly in Imperial, because this is an Imperial Age unique technology, then you can actually get that first, and then you can get these for food. Obviously, this is not something that's going to be viable in monk rushes, because this is an Imperial Age technology, so that is not something that's viable with Castle Age monk rushes. This is more useful when, let's say, you're an Imperial Age and you suddenly get pushed by bombard cannons and you need a bunch of monks with redemption and block printing. Also keep in mind that monks and monastery upgrades have their gold cost replaced by food, which means that you can get a bunch of monks out for food, which is obviously a very, very nice thing to have, because you can use monks to convert very high value enemy units, and obviously this basically converts monks into trash units, which is a nice feature and something that is very, very useful when you're trying to convert bombard cannons from the opponent, for example, or you're trying to do something like convert, let's say, elephants as well. Could be, or could make these monks a very, very good late game unit as well for the Bohemians. Last but not least, let's talk about the Hussite wagons, which is a unit that brings in once again a brand new feature. It is a gunpowder unit, as it is costing wood and gold over here, but the main thing that the Hussite wagons give you is the ability to have the units that are standing behind them take reduced arrow fire. So this is more of a support unit rather than an actual mainline combat unit. And this is the other reason probably why the Bohemians are lacking Thumb Ring, because if you would give them Thumb Ring over here, then these arbalests would be really powerful standing behind Hussite wagons. The Bohemians are a very slow-moving civilization, but this actually adds up nicely to their civilization characteristics. Imagine a bunch of hussite wagons in front, arbalests or bombard cannons behind. That is going to be insanely hard to stop, and you can even have halberdiers standing behind to deal with cavalry. So if you can get a nice unit composition like this one with Bohemians, they are insanely hard to stop on a map like Arena. I decided to create a bit of a scenario over here just to showcase how exactly the hussite wagons work. What you're going to see here is two archers fighting against each other over here, and these will be standing behind hussite wagons. These green hussite wagons are allied to both blue and red, so you will be able to see real quick that both the units that are standing directly next to the hussite wagons, but also the ones that are further apart, will benefit from that damage reduction. So if I unpause here, you see that that's not how it's supposed to work. It worked differently in my tests, but anyways, you see that these guys have already taken 3 shots, that's 12 damage, right? These guys have only taken 6 damage. So that is exactly 50% of the 12 damage that was taken over here. They definitely take less damage, you see that, as they are shooting at each other, but this also applies to these red ones. So not only the ones that are directly next to the wagons, also the ones that are a little bit further apart benefit from this bonus. So you do see that they are taking considerable less damage. They take 2 per shot, whereas they would get more. They would get 4 per shot if they would be fired upon from a direction that is having no hussite wagons in between them. So that's basically how the hussite wagon mechanics work. It apparently doesn't matter to have your units right next to the hussite wagons or a little bit further apart. I don't know, and I haven't tested that. I will just leave it to the people that are much better at testing stuff than I am on how big distance this bonus applies, but one thing is sure, if you have your hussite wagons in front and you have your archers behind it, you're going to take 50% less projectile damage, which is obviously a very, very nice thing to have, making the hussite wagons a very good auxiliary unit. Overall, as a summary, we can say that Bohemians is the go-to closed map civilization over here, and I am fairly certain we're going to see some nerfs to it initially, because they seem to be extremely powerful on closed maps in many, many different ways. Their monk play is really strong in Castle Age, their monks are very viable in Imperial Age, they do have the hussite wagons, which make their late game pushes very, very devastating. They do have access to the Hoofnitzes, which makes their bombard cannon play strong. Their trash units are also pretty decent, so they do have fully upgraded halberdier and very good elite skirms as well. Obviously, this civilization is going to be a nightmare to play on a map like Arabia, because they are basically the definition of slowness. Absolutely no mobility for them. Their cavalry is as underwhelming as it gets. But when it comes to closed maps, in a variety of ways, Bohemians is probably going to be an S-tier civilization. Very strong all-around infantry. Their bombard cannon play is really strong. Fast Imperial Age build orders could be a thing here with the bonuses that they are receiving. So it's going to be very interesting to see how players will use Bohemians in arena games. And as I mentioned before, I'm also planning to put together a Fast Imp build order with Bohemians, with hand cannon, bombard cannon, because I'm curious what you can squeeze out of Bohemians in this one. With that, I would like to thank you so much for your attention. In case you haven't seen my Polish civilization review, then make sure to check that one out as well. This is the first time I'm doing such civilization reviews, so in case you have some feedback, I am more than happy to read it if you post it in the comments down below, because well, obviously I'm far from perfect, but hopefully you have enjoyed it and this has given you a decent briefing to the new civilizations. Dawn of the Dukes is now available to purchase on Steam as a DLC, so in case you want to try these 2 civilizations out, head over there and take a look. But for me, I would like to thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you next time.